Hey guys, it's TF now. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another model kit review. This time it's going to be of the Bandai Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom High Grade Cosmic Era 1/44th Scale Rising Freedom Gundam. Very excited to have this Gunpla here. I have been sitting on this one for a little bit. It's March 4th when I've been recording this. I got this about 2 weeks ago. Now, it didn't take me 2 weeks to build this, but I've been pretty busy. It took me about maybe 3 hours each day I've worked on it, which was about 4 days in total. With a little bit of extra time dedicated to the backpack. So, you could do the math there to see how long it's going to take. If you're faster at building these than I am, this will probably take you a decent evening to complete this one. There is a decent amount of stuff going on here. But it's a really nice kit. I picked this up at my local hobby store, HobbyTown USA. They get their stuff a little bit quicker than some of the other US retailers like Big Bad Toy Store and others. But if you're going through like USA Gundam or Newtype, they'll probably have that in stock by now. I have yet to see anything regarding Seed or Seed Freedom because it's not out in the States yet. So I'm really behind on wanting to watch these shows. I'm still in the middle of the original series, but eventually I will be getting to see it. I really want to watch that one. But this model kit is a lot of fun. Let's just go ahead and talk about the front of the packaging real quick. You've been looking at it for a while. Very nice art illustrations going on here. They usually really step it up with the art. It usually is really good with a high grade line. But this time around, it's also just really particularly good. I really love the design. Now, on this thin side here, as you see here, it's going to be like this on the other side, but there's a big price sticker on that side, so I'm going to show this one only. But it does say High Grade Cosmic Era Seed Freedom 243, as well as Rising Freedom Gundam, BandaiHobby.net, and the Bandai logo. On this bottom here, it talks about Seed Action System, which there's a lot of features to using, a lot of stuff going on here. Just goes over some of the accessories as well as some of the stuff with the articulation and some of the modular stuff going on here. And you can also put this into different modes as well. Now on this side, it just shows Seed, Rising Freedom Gundam, as well as the story of Seed, I should say, or at least leading up to Seed Freedom there, which I still have yet to see. And then we do have the Gunpla logo as well as the barcode in case you need it. So, really quick, I do want to talk about before the build, what's inside here. It's pretty typical when you open this up. There's 11 runners in total. Everything is packed into bags here. You'll get like 2 or 3 runners in one bag. The smaller ones, will be in smaller bags, of course. The stickers were included with one of the runners, so everything is nicely separated. I believe everything is polystyrene. When you look at the instruction manuals, it says PS. That's what makes me think that. So if I'm wrong, please let me know down at the bottom, or in the comments, I should say. Usually it'll say like PS or ABS. You'll know what kind of plastic that is. Anyway, we also do have the instructions here, which of course you're going to need these to build. The instructions look really cool too. They also have a little bit of story going on at some sections of the pages. Most of this is going to be in gray, black and white colors, but we do have a little bit of color going on in some of these pages. Here is Rising Freedom completely built out of the box. This is a really nice kit. I did have a lot of fun building this for the most part. I do have some problems with my particular kit. I did some things wrong on my end, but there's some things regarding how Bandai did some things I wish they did differently. But overall, it's a really awesome high grade. Let's go ahead, take a look at the accessories you'll be building with this, and then we'll take a closer look at the model kit. So my goal for right now is to talk about the backpack first, because it's going to be a hassle if I'm going over the detail of the actual Gundam with this on. It's a little bit cumbersome. So we'll talk about it now. This is a pretty nice backpack system. I will say, once it was, I was getting close to done, it felt a little bit of a slog to build this. I think once I built the body of the Gundam rather fast, and then I think I was just kind of done, or mentally I was done, but I really wasn't with this backpack system. The wings on here are really nice. I do want to mention some things though. So when I was applying these stickers, I think I may have kept this middle section in my hand to where I tensed up a little bit and ended up stressing that plastic, so that was my fault. However, for some reason, these stickers, there's so many stickers in this kit, and there's some weird stuff going on here too, that it was just such a hassle to get things on here. There's way too many stickers. I know that part separation would have been a little bit more difficult, but things are starting to come a little bit undone without me really messing around with this. I mean, once you get it all on there, it looks pretty good. When you look a little bit closer, there's some sections that aren't super, you know, fit on here, I guess. But, I mean, it's a nice backpack system, don't get me wrong. I just was a little frustrated putting a lot of these stickers on. But the wing system is really nice. You know, all this nice, like, you know, darkish grayish blue with a lighter blue. The white on there is mostly stickers. This middle section can actually, I don't know. These two outer wings definitely move, but because of a little bit of friction, things want to move separate. So that does also move. And then the railgun sections, they also move. I'll try, since a lot of things move here, I'll try to show off the different forms with like the attack modes with the railguns as well as the MA form later on in the review. You can see like you know, swivels here a little bit, hinging forward and back when it comes to certain articulation. I'm probably going to forget the articulation for this during the articulation section of the actual Gundam, so I'm doing it now. So you can hinge, you can go forward and back here. These parts, you know, they also move right here, and then, you know, eventually you start missing things, it can kind of come undone a little bit, but you can plug it back in. I'm not going to do that right now. But there's also a bit of a ball joint going on in here. You can flip this up for the MA form, plug this into the back of the actual Gundam. Oh, I forgot to mention, there are wing pieces that pop out here, and I'm having a little bit of trouble getting them out. That's for the MA form. These are stickers. Then there's this multicolored sticker here with a little bit of metallic blue and red on there. It looks like it's peeling off a little bit. I wish this was more of a part separated, smaller piece. I thought probably would have been difficult, but not a bad, you know, backpack system. There's some problems with it though. So the first thing I want to talk about, of course, the beam saber effects. These are really cool. So you get two of these, of course. You get the handle. You unplug it, of course. Now, sometimes, again, friction kind of getting in the way. It's a little bit too tightly ported up here, so it kind of wants to go. Well, now it's doing it right. But yeah, a lot of you are familiar with how these work. Really nice translucent pink plastic going on here. Decent amounts of sculpt work in the actual handle. Again, you get two of these, and you can actually combine it here towards the bottom, like so. So, because of that, you could basically Darth Maul this. It's kind of sick that you can have a double-sided, very long beam saber type of double saber, I guess you could call it there. So, that is pretty cool that they did that. You also have the beam rifle here. I've built the, I think it was Infinite Justice. This is kind of similar to that. I think Immortal Justice is also going to be pretty similar. Now, I was talking about the stickers earlier where, you know, these stickers are kind of a pain. They kind of want to peel off a little bit on this thing. But when you get these on here in a correct position, man, it looks really good. Actually, like, I think the stickers on this is actually a little bit better than how they did it on the, or how they designed it for the wing set. You know, the separation of the white and the gray on here is really cool. You have this little part that goes back and forth. I believe you could plug this in during the MA form. I forget where exactly. I think it's on the shield. I believe so. Yeah, I think like right here. I could be wrong. We'll have to figure that out later. There's a little bit of a port right there, but it doesn't have any kind of effects piece for that. But this is a very cool system here. This is what is basically called the shield boomerang here. So you can see these beam saber effects going on. These parts hinge in and out. You can also, I think actually this is probably where you put the rifle in. You can move these pieces, slide them up and down, and it's a little bit hard to do again because of friction, but you can get it in there pretty decently. You have this back clip system here. You can take these pieces out, of course, and they go back on and off rather easily. Popping this off real quick. This one's giving me a little bit of trouble. And then this is just what it looks like as a normal shield. Now, clipping this on to the forearm is actually pretty easy. You take the gray piece, which it's a little bit difficult to fit in at first. Once you get it on there, you can fit the the entire shield here on that piece on the forearm, and you can pose it around, and actually it makes everything look pretty cool with this particular shield there too. Now we also have the beam shield here, very similar to Destiny Gundams. I don't know if this is the exact same sculpt. I don't believe it is. But, it is a blue translucent plastic, a little bit less translucent, it's a little bit of a brighter blue because of that. But the way that they've detailed this is really nice. And again, when it comes to, using this, it's going to be on the forearm. Now, you will have to take off the red piece, which can be a little bit of a hassle to pop on and off, mostly taking it off. But then you can fit the beam, shield onto there. Then you'll put the red piece over there. And again, it can be a little bit tricky to fit everything on there at once. But, once you get it done, it can actually be done pretty well. And it stays in there rather nice as well. We also get this alternate left hand, this sprawled out hand. You can see the detailing right here on the palms, and you have this like back piece right there, and you do have a little bit of a ball joint going on there. Everything looks pretty good. I think the way that there's some gating, I think was, with my tool, to get rid of this stuff. Once you get them off there, they're not too apparent, which is nice. So I wish we had a couple more hands, but I kind of wish that for pretty much any Gundam. Last but not least, this is a base adapter piece for the MA form if you want to make it fly. You don't really entirely need it, but it is helpful if you want to use it during the MA form. You can actually use a Figma base in this port here, as well as the port that's in the Gundam, to make this stable and keep this flying. So we do have a lot of stuff going on with this particular Gunpla. So at the beginning of the review, I said I was recording this 2 weeks after purchasing the kit. It has now been a little over 3 weeks. I do apologize for my tardiness. I'm just really, really busy. Anyway, this is a really nice head. I think it's a really underrated aspect of this particular kit. This right here, I will say, the red part here was extremely difficult to put on at first. I lost it a couple times. Almost I lost it completely at one point, but once I poured it in there, it wants to stay on. These, I guess these are Vulcans, but these, yellow and white pieces, they actually pop off sometimes, not super easily, but when they do, the red does not pop off, which is nice. You see some stickers of the eyes, and, up here, the top of the head, there's a couple of those. It's a little bit hidden in that little pocket right there, and then there is a back camera piece. Sometimes, so far they've stayed on there, but with past experience, sometimes they do want to pop off with other Gunpla. I really like how they layered like this gray section right here from the actual mouth to like the outside here, and then close to like these vent sections there. That separation of white to gray back to white is really cool, and the metallic eyes there in the sticker actually comes through really nice. And I've said it before, I don't panel line at this section because I want to show you what it looks like before I do any kind of alterations. But this pre-panel line looks fantastic. And, the gating here is not too bad, I don't think. I think the gating was worse on the wing set that comes with this than anything else. You can kind of see it in the elbows, a little bit right here, but you kind of got to look pretty hard in certain areas. There's some areas where it just won't come off too, like in the back of these upper thigh pieces where the blue meets the white. And I think that's really it. We'll probably go through the rest of this review, and I'll probably find a couple sections. Again, I didn't want to put the wing set on yet. That's what it looks like, with the port right there. Put in the back. These large shoulder pad pieces are also very cool as well. I think I may have filed down a little too much on accident around here. There's a bit of a gap. You can't tell too much, I guess, but I did kind of mess that up a little bit with this gappage right there. So if it looks like there's too much space there, that is actually on me. The way that they did this vent system in the chest and the separation of the red with the blue, the color choice on here is just mostly really nice. The white, the red, and the blue all contrast very well, and you have that little bit of yellow up here too. A little bit of gray going on here. You can see a little bit of inner workings, not really in crazy amounts of stuff, like no wiring or anything. They're just pretty accurate to how Gundams are usually detailed. But like that neck system right there, they used to make it like a poly cap. That is a actual plastic piece there. I don't think they're using poly caps anymore. Yeah, I don't see it at all here. I think they've kind of gone away with that in the past few years, which is whatever with me. I digress a little bit. I forgot to mention, I don't know if I showed this off, but I may have forgotten to put this, show this off in the accessory section. That's how you put in the beam saber. We'll take that off. Side skirts here are interesting because they are a railgun. And again, the movie is not out yet. It's coming out in the States towards the end of March, actually. But you can flip out these parts here, and you can actually extend this a little bit, and then you have these hip, not the most practical design to make railguns a hip type of system here, but it's still pretty sick if you ask me. And you can fold these down a little bit. The way that the arms are done, those are also really nice. Pretty nice design going on with the, I mean, it's pretty basic, but not too bad. With the, arms going on, the upper and lower parts, you do have some lines there if you want to, get to work with panel lining there. This was a little bit hard to file down in some areas. I think the blue was mostly the most trouble I had when it came to buffing out the nub marks. I didn't want to buff things down too much to where things look too smooth or too whittled down in some areas. I mentioned this earlier, this can be separated. We have the gripping hands here that can also kind of act as fists. You get that on both sides here, the way they did the fingers. All that's really cool. Back armor pieces for the hands, looking really good as well. Now, side skirts. The instructions say, I guess at your own discretion, you can, that's even the right term to use, you can separate these. I don't usually like separating these because one side or both sides will usually get extremely loose, and then that's just kind of ruined. This is rather loose. There's very little effort to move this up. You need a little bit more effort to put this up, but this also will, until you get down to a little bit like right here. Even then, actually, it keeps it posed still pretty well, even with its looseness. Separation of gray plastic with the white there is also pretty nice. A little bit of, the separation of the red, white, and then you have the gray right there. That is where you would port in the base if you have one. You can have a Gunpla base from Bandai, or even if you have a Figma base like I showed off, it works. These side skirt back pieces, they're back skirts. I don't know why I said it like that. They don't really move at all, but you can port in the. You should be able to port in the beam rifle. I have it. It's on the ground right now, but it's going to take forever for me to grab. Looking at the thighs, because this stuff kind of gets in the way. They did a pretty good job with. That's where the buff marks would be. Buffing that out, it's not too bad. I think I had to grate that a little too hard. You can still see a little bit of buffing going on there, or gate marks when I was trying to buff there. Even like scratching it with your thumb, which sometimes you can get rid of those marks with that. It's kind of difficult to do. The detail. This is a little bit plain here, but you do have sections for panel lining, so that's cool. This is a really nice, like shin area, the way that this is designed. Plastic separation, all that looks really cool. A little bit of venting going on the top here. I guess these are also vents towards here. I'm not exactly sure. I think there might be a little bit of dust in there I gotta get out. And I do want to mention the back here. These can be popped out. I believe this is for, I actually don't remember if this is for normal Gundam mode, or if this is when we put it into MA form as well. But you have the separated stickers here. There's a lot of part separation. Like this is a separate piece, no sticker there. So the actual kit straight up uses less stickers than the backpack system, which is kind of nuts. These shin pieces are interesting. They actually don't get in the way too much. They mostly port into what looks like a clip here, but they can actually, we'll talk about the articulation a little bit, but they can move around actually decently without hindering the articulation too much. And the feet here look, like on the bottom here, you actually get some really nice detailing there. On the top, not too much, but I'm actually really impressed with what they did with the bottom. So that's really sick. And then that's what the inner workings are going to look like, at least, in terms of the construction of this kit around the inside of the ankles. A little bit of venting going on here on these ankle pieces too. And then you have a little bit of separation of gray and white around the stomach area. Forgot to mention that. So I also didn't mention like these little inside shoulder pad pieces have a little bit of hinging going on here, a little bit of separated red. I did mention the backpack system earlier had all kinds of separate wings that had hinges going forward and back, up and down, all that, even the rail guns on there too. So moving the head up here can go up pretty far, and then down pretty far too. You can actually pivot the neck forward and back for more range of motion, side to side. Swiveling is not a problem. Lots of great range of motion going on here. You get a decent forward here in a butterfly joint, but not really back at all. If you're getting any back, it's from the ball joint going into the shoulder socket. But you can go all the way around. You can actually go really far. Sometimes the head wants to pop off a little bit when you do this. Just be careful, but that's as far up as you can go, and that is pretty sick actually. And then you have an upper arm swivel there. You can move that out like so. You do get the double jointed elbows. They actually move really well. A little bit of looseness here. Actually, hang on, I forgot to mention if there is. I don't think there. I think you could take this out and then maybe move it like this. I actually don't. Yeah, I don't remember. No, I don't think you can. Sorry, kind of wasted your time. But we do have ball jointed wrists. You pull them out a little bit and you can get a little bit more range of motion, but they tend to fall out a little bit easier at that point as well. So we do have some ab articulation. You can hinge it forward a little bit just here. You can push it back actually decently. Swiveling is not too bad, and you can get some side to side and forward and back. When you want to push it up the socket a little bit in there, it will again tend to come separated sometimes, but if you want extra range of motion for the forward and back, you're going to have to do that. On its own, it really doesn't want to move that much. But, like, look at that. You can also hinge it in the side to side there. So, pretty decent design going on. We do have ball joints on these side skirts that can go a little bit in and out there. You get the railgun system. They move out a little bit too. Hinge out. Push these out a little bit. They're on ball joints. You can actually shimmy the legs up and down a little bit, so you can get a drop down system with the kit actually. So you push it out like this. Even then, when you push it back up, it's not that bad. And then thigh split, the side skirts will get in the way of that. Back motion isn't that amazing because this is stationary. Upper thigh swivel, you get double jointed knees right there. Now, there's a lot going on here, and some things may come undone, but you can hinge forward and back like that. Again, you have a little bit of like a ball joint system where this will move with the foot actually without having to be tied down to the foot, which is kind of sick. There's actually a ball joint going on in the foot too. You can hinge them down for the the toes down for the MA form. So lots and lots of range of motion, especially towards the ankles here. And it's not really hindered that much. Things might get a little hectic when filming this section here. I got a lot of things sticking out. But this is one of the alternate wing modes you can do that is displayed in the instructions, kind of displayed on the box too. The idea here is that these wing pieces that are closer towards the Gundam go up, and then everything else just kind of sticks down. You move those railgun pieces close to the shoulders to where they kind of look like this, where these little like vent almost systems or whatever are sticking up. Close to the head, I have the one beam rifle in the right arm. And then I have the sprawled out hand there. I do also have, and this angle's not great to see, but the side skirt rail guns are sticking out a little bit. With all that construction that was needed for this backpack, that frustrated me, it does actually work pretty well. I will say, though, that getting these rail guns close to the Vulcans there, it kind of has a tendency to knock off things. Or if you're not careful enough, if you're getting it into this mode, you could break something. So just be wary of that. And I do again want to show off the Fuma base being ported underneath the Gundam right there. Works like a dream. Here's another pose from the instructions here. This backpack system it's a little back heavy if you don't position it too well. But if you lean it forward just even a tiny bit, this kit can support the weight of this backpack system. The idea here is those inner and outer wings there are pushed all the way to the back, and then these you push them backwards, so, and then these stick down again, these stick up there. You actually have more headroom between the head and the these railgun pieces. I will say I noticed that I have to kind of stick out. Let's try to get it on the ground and try to rotate it, I guess. You have to kind of separate right around in there to keep that separated from this. You can push this in a little bit more, but when things, these wing pieces start causing friction with these blue pieces in the middle here, things like to pop off, like these want to pop off, even though they're on a ball joint. You can put it back in, of course, but you kind of have to push some things out, which I was reading the instructions. It doesn't seem like it wants to do that, but it does. Now, I do have the beam shield on there ported nicely, and I do have the beam. Oh gosh, his legs are a tiny bit loose when I do that. Let's just take that off for now. I do have the beam rifle in there as well. So this might be the more difficult form to try to get a good basis on, to show you everything about it. But this is how the MA form is done. And you don't need to do a whole bunch of rearranging and separation of parts like with, from personal examples, high grade Zeta Gundam or Wing Zero, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you can see all you really need to do is flip this top piece from the backpack up to cover the head. And, I didn't elaborate on this super well, but during the accessory portion, this adapter piece, that's actually for porting, into the figure, of course, for a base. But also, you plug in, plug the shield boomerang into the gray part, plug the rifle into the shield boomerang, and you bend the feet down a little bit like that, and then you have the MA form. And it gets a little top heavy on this Figma stand. I have to tighten the screws here, but I'm pretty sure this is how it's supposed to be. You also flip out those fin pieces on the back of the back of the thighs, as well as the or shins, I should say, as well as the front here. So yeah, you could still tell it looks like a Gundam, of course, but the fact you can get a bunch of different modes out of this without messing things around too much is still pretty nice. The rearranging of things in battle modes is a little bit difficult, but this is actually the easier mode, I believe, to do everything with. Measuring out the figure, we're looking at around the 13 to 13.5 centimeter range, so that will put this around 5.5 inches there. You can see that there are tons of taller figures that I have for random size comparisons here. Right next to on the left, that is Dan Italian from the Iron Blooded Orphans high grade line. Right next to on the right, that is the Robot Spirits Ava Unit 2. Far left, you do also have the Sentinel Gurren Lagann I like to bring out for these size comparisons for reviews. Far right, standard size Marvel Legends. Overall, this is a really solid kit for the price you're paying, which is around $26 US. I really like the actual construction of the Gundam itself. The part separation, especially in the head, is really good here. Lots of nice detail and sculpting going on here. Even before you start painting this up yourself, the detailing on here is really nice. The articulation on here is also really cool, and you get a lot of accessories for this one. I do wish we had a couple extra pair of hands, but that's kind of a common thing with this line that I wish it did. I thought that the railgun side skirts would be kind of dumb. I wasn't digging them at first, but they've grown on me, definitely. They look pretty cool, and they're pretty functional, too. My biggest complaint with this kit has to be the backpack system. And it's not that it's god-awful, per se. I think it's actually pretty good. It's just a bit of a pain to build as well as apply the stickers. I don't know how the small stickers for the head were easier to do than these larger stickers that go on the, backpack system, which that might be a skill issue on my part. But once you get everything built and all the stickers on there, your patience is rewarded with a very nice, modular type of backpack system that you can do different modes with. We'll see how well I get through the Immortal Justice when I get to that, hopefully soon. I don't know if both of them are still available yet. Some places might have them sold out. Some places might have them in stock, and some may not have them in stock just yet. I'll leave links in the description below if I can find anything in stock. Until then, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the Gundam here, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.